It's Monday, October 31st, and this is now on HNN.
South Korean police are admitting to errors as authorities investigate how Halloween festivities in Seoul turned deadly.
Elon Musk, Twitter's new owner, tweets a conspiracy theory about the attack on Paul Pelosi.
The election is in a little more than a week. Will dangerous rhetoric dictate how voters cast their ballots? We speak to HNN political analyst Colin Moore.
We all need to work to bring down the temperature a little bit.
All these stories plus we'll announce the winners of our annual costume contest that's coming up on this third anniversary edition of This Is Now. Good afternoon. Thanks for watching. This Is Now. Well, an evening intended for celebration turned into an unbelievable night of tragedy in South Korea.
Chaos erupted when partygoers packed into a narrow street in Seoul, and now an investigation is underway. Ivan Watson has more from the scene.
The bar district here in Itaewon is now eerily dark and silent after a deadly crowd surge disaster took place in these very streets. On Saturday night, these alleys were heaving with thousands of people who'd come to celebrate Halloween. They were in costumes, they were drinking, and they surged into these areas, and the numbers were quite literally asphyxiating. I've spoken to some French exchange students who say that they were so packed in cheek to jowl that they could not breathe, and one of them passed out.
There were like so many people who were like pushing us, and like we cannot breathe at all for a moment. At some point I had no air, and we were so crushed to other people that I couldn't breathe at all, so I just passed out.
Unconscious?
Yeah, unconscious.
Did you know that people were dying near where you were standing?
No. We were just there, and we're just trying to save our life.
The mood here is somber and sad at this improvised memorial that has sprung up just steps from the alleyway where so many young people lost their lives on Saturday night. The government has declared this week to be one of national mourning, and you can see people paying their respects, laying flowers, candles, handwritten notes. The police say that they did not have a manual for this type of gathering. They say there was not a single organizer, and that they had deployed more police officers to this neighborhood than in past years, but their goal was to be focused on battling drugs and sexual abuse, not on controlling the crowd. The overwhelming majority of the victims from this terrible night are people in their 20s. The Ministry of Education say 5 of the victims were high school students, and the youngest, a middle school student.
The man accused of attacking Paul Pelosi, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, told police he wanted to hold the speaker hostage. David DePape has been charged with 2 federal crimes. Police say DePape broke into Pelosi's home in San Francisco and struck the Democratic leader's 82-year-old husband in the head with a hammer, seriously injuring him. The announcement of the federal charges comes as San Francisco's district attorney is set to announce state criminal charges as well against DePape. He was arrested Friday on suspicion of attempted murder, elder abuse, and burglary. Meanwhile, Twitter's new owner, billionaire Elon Musk, on Sunday posted a tweet promoting baseless allegations about the attack on Paul Pelosi. Donnie O'Sullivan looks at how this incident is an early test for Musk as the new leader of the social media platform.
So just as we approach Election Day here in the United States, there are people at Twitter working to combat misinformation and disinformation about the election. But we saw on Sunday, their new boss, the new owner of Twitter, Elon Musk, tweeting out a link to an article that was making baseless claims about what happened to Paul Pelosi. That Musk eventually deleted that tweet, perhaps acknowledging he was wrong, but that website that he had linked to was basically a website that often publishes nonsense, including in 2016 that same website actually claimed that Hillary Clinton had died and that the person on the campaign trail was a body double. Just a few days in to Musk owning this company, we've seen a lot of upheaval within the company, and now we see Musk doing this publicly. It's going to be a rough ride for people at Twitter for the next time. Back to you.
So how does the attack on Paul Pelosi play into politics in the upcoming midterm election? We talked to our political analyst Colin Moore about just that today on Sunrise.
Let's start with the attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband. And we've heard threats before, but the fact that this man broke into their home, was looking for her with the intent of doing physical harm, what does this say about the political climate that we have in our country?
I mean, this just shows how polarized and now dangerous our political rhetoric has been. I mean, an 82-year-old man was attacked in his own home only because he's married to the Speaker of the House. I think we all need to work to bring down the temperature a little bit. I mean, democracies only work because we solve our problems in peaceful ways. So if you're concerned, vote, protest, but violence can't be the answer.
This has also brought up the question of whether there should be security detail for the families of representatives. What do you think? Should there be? I mean, given this attack, it was so violent.
I think there has to be at this point, particularly for the leadership. I mean, people aren't going to serve in these offices if they're worried about the safety of their families. And so we probably will have to expand security details, which is a very sad thing to think about.
And expensive.
And expensive, yes.
All right, so let's talk about the elections themselves. Nationwide, is inflation the #1 topic?
Steve, absolutely. This is poll after poll after poll shows that this is the #1 issue voters care about. It's going to benefit Republicans. They're always benefited the opposition party when the economy is struggling, and you're going to see that. But of course, Democrats are trying to change the narrative here to talk more about abortion and other issues.
What do you think the #1 issue is going to be for local voters besides inflation?
Well, it's definitely going to be crime. I've heard that from a lot of folks. And of course, housing. That's always a perennial issue here in Hawaii.
Affordable housing.
Yes, affordable housing, not just housing. Everyone would love more housing, but it's got to be affordable.
Yeah, the Maui race. Some people have said it's going to be really tight. I know you've come on before and said that maybe it won't be that close.
Yeah.
Do you think this is just a matter of Mayor Victorino losing people with some of the issues?
You know, Steve, I think it is. I mean, it's tough to be an incumbent during COVID, and of course, Mayor Victorino had to face a recall effort. That was very damaging to him. And of course, Rick Bisson, you know, he isn't a progressive. He's really tried to rise above the fray, and he's saying, look, you've had your chance, Mayor Victorino. Give me an opportunity, and that's very difficult. That rhetoric is very difficult for incumbents to counter.
The endorsements, I imagine, help.
And of course, the endorsements help. The endorsements help Bisson from the progressives, from powerful unions like HGA. So he really has a big lead going into this. And of course, Victorino struggles from being the incumbent, particularly during COVID.
There have been some big stories in recent years about sea level rise and erosion, climate change being such a hot button issue. Do you think they'll have any effect in this upcoming election cycle?
You know, probably not a big effect. I mean, like we said, folks are so worried about the cost of living, crime, other issues. And this is a difficult thing when we're talking about such a monumental issue like climate change. Our democracies, which really work in 2 to 4 year cycles, aren't set up very well to deal with these huge existential problems, long-term problems. So we are seeing some progress. President Biden did pass a very important bill, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, we want to drive people to the polls. So on a personal level, what are you looking at in this election? What interests you the most?
You know, that Maui mayoral race is very important. City and county council races right here are extremely important. There's a lot of those competitive races. There's a lot of down ticket races that people need to pay attention to. Your own member of the state legislature. Those are up. Don't forget about those. We have some important charter amendments. So all of these issues are essential. Even though we don't have spend a lot of time talking about them, they make a huge difference.
Yeah, the short answer, all of it.
Yes,
and all of
exactly.
It matters.
All of it
So
matters.
Yeah.
Please vote.
Get those ballots in. All right, Colin Moore, thanks for being here today.
Happy Halloween, everyone. Tonight, many children will be out trick-or-treating, so Mandy Gaither has some tips for parents on how to keep your little ones safe.
It's time for carved pumpkins, costumes, and candy. But before you head out this Halloween, make sure your child gets a good dinner.
something filling that will fuel them throughout the night of trick-or-treating, but also will help so they don't want to just binge candy all night long.
Taking some water while trick-or-treating can help ghosts and goblins stay hydrated. When it comes to their costume, make sure it fits well so they don't trip. And if there's a mask, that they can clearly see out of it. Use a flashlight or reflective tape so they're easily seen.
The real key is making sure your child is visible to cars driving by, and so anything bright is great.
Trick-or-treat in well-lit areas at houses clearly open to visitors. Dr. Natalie Toney with Orlando Health's Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children says the best practice is to wait to eat the goodies.
When your child brings the candy home, it's always a good idea to have an adult look over the candy and make sure everything's in commercially wrapped packages and that it's safe to be eaten.
And when it comes to candy, set expectations early on how much they can consume.
They likely will be able to eat a few more pieces of candy than normal, but making sure they understand that we're going to be saving a lot of the candy to eat in moderation throughout the next few weeks.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Ooh, it's our favorite time of the year here at This Is Now. Happy birthday. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to us.
3 years of doing this. Can you believe it? They're still letting us do this. Yes. Thank you, bosses. Thank you. All right, so we're dressed up for Halloween. We always get into the part. And in case you're wondering what we are exactly, there's been a lot of questions about that today. I've been called a bar of soap. But here's another hint. Yeah, only the biggest movie of this Halloween season.
I love it.
I'm Book from Hocus Pocus. Multimedia even. That's an iPad in this costume, box costume, handmade. Worked on it yesterday. Honestly, it took more time to wait in line at Party City than it did to assemble this whole thing. But yeah, just got some toy snakes, iPad, cardboard box, distress the box, a little spray paint. You got yourself a costume. Oh yeah,
it's
a little
so
rope,
good, John.
Thank you.
I love it.
Explain yours, my friend. Loving it.
So using the pregnant belly this year, I'm Ali Wong, one of my favorite comedians. There she is from her special Hard Knock Wife.
Yes.
And just very, very creative pregnant Asian women.
Yeah, it looks great. And I'll give myself props for waiting in line at Party City for those nunchucks,
yes,
too.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. All right, let's get to what everyone's been waiting for.
Oh, yeah.
The big costume contest. Let's start with our finalists. How about that?
Okay, here are our top 6 finalists for the This Is Now costume contest. Once Jonathan can push it, there we go.
It's a little bit tough to hit
He always
the
does the box costumes, so we always have this problem.
Yes.
So this is the Top Gun Maverick puppy. Then we had our Menehune Water Boy, our Chick-fil-A Waffle Fry Girl, our Pa'u Princess of Maui, there she is, our Wizard of Oz family, and our City and County Lifeguard keeping the oceans safe. Now,
great costume.
Yes.
Great.
Our grand prize winners. Now we have 3, remember? So first place with 8,578 likes on our HNN Instagram page is the Menehune Water Boy. So this photo was also shared more than 600 times. You guys really loved it. In second place with 3,607 likes, our Waffle Fry Girl. And in third place with 3,348 likes is the Lifeguard. So each person will be taking home 100
dollar
gift cards to IMP, the International Marketplace, the restaurants there. So Moani or Strip Steak.
Yeah, and don't forget, at International Marketplace today, starting at 4, you can take your kids down for some free trick-or-treating action, and I'm told they can also take some pictures with some of the characters there as well. This is very difficult to push the buttons.
Yeah,
You're right. I do it every year. I do it to myself.
Yeah.
I do it, but I can still do this. Take you live outside to Washington D.C. What do we got there? White House trick-or-treating. I'm told President Biden is there. Oh, I see him.
Yep, there he is.
He has a baseball cap on. We don't see his face there. But look at that line of trick-or-treaters trying to make out any of the costumes. I see a fairy there helping them pass out some candy.
Maybe that's Dr. Biden.
Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah,
we can't see because they're not facing us.
Not facing us just yet. But that would be a fun experience on this fall day in Washington, D.C. Let's go ahead and see what our trick-or-treat action's going to be like. Here's Guy Hoggy.
Today, the winds will run at moderate speeds, and that means comfortable humidity levels, and whatever rain comes in will be moving out quickly. But notice the streamlines turn yellow by tomorrow. That means stronger winds, even stronger winds later in the week. So stronger winds pick up tomorrow, and more rain is expected by, say, Wednesday in through Thursday, maybe even into Friday. So there are those trade winds maybe easing up by the early part of next week, but it's going to be quite windy starting tomorrow. So for today, we've got moderate trade winds at 10 to 20, lots of sunshine, a few windward and Mauka showers. So again, the advice is if you go trick-or-treating tonight, and if you're in a windward or Mauka neighborhood, make sure to take an umbrella because you'll likely see a few passing showers, not a washout. Drier by tomorrow, windier tomorrow as well, and then another round of rain moves in Wednesday night, lingering through Friday.
Thank you very much, Guy Hoggy, for that 7-day update as I push the button yet again. Okay, so Halloween can be very expensive, right?
Yes, for sure.
So my costume, if you minus the iPad, it was like 60, 70 bucks.
Wow.
So not too bad. Not too bad at all. I mean, but Halloween adds up. The cost of candy, not cheap at all. We got a special cake for our anniversary. That was like 30 bucks for a cake. Sugar, water, and flour.
It's so cute, though.
They did a great job.
Yeah, I love it.
Go Safeway. Yeah. But yeah, Halloween, super expensive. This year's expected to be a record breaker. I'm told by the National Retail Federation up to 10.6. Just check. Billion.
B with a B.
Billion. I almost said million because I can't believe that, but it's true. Let's turn things over to Jen Sullivan with even more about this really crazy holiday spending.
Inflation and recession fears not scaring away trick-or-treaters this spooky season. According to the National Retail Federation, Halloween spending could reach a record level this fall.
They're planning to celebrate in more ways than they did during the pandemic, but they may be a little bit more budget conscious.
The NRF says 69% are planning to celebrate this year. That's up from 65% last year, 1 percentage higher than 2019. The NRF expects Americans will spend $10.6 billion this year, despite soaring prices.
We know that inflation is certainly top of mind for consumers, but what we're hearing so far is that people are still prioritizing the holiday.
The NRF says consumers plan to spend an average of $100 this holiday. Costumes are the biggest expense at $3.6 billion, followed by decorations at $3.4 billion. And candy at $3.1 billion. The NRF also says younger consumers, Gen Z, are celebrating more than any other age group.
Consumers under the age of 25 are turning out in full force. About 87% say they're planning to celebrate the holiday this year, and we're seeing the highest levels of spending in areas like adult costumes that we've seen in about 5 years.
Now that COVID-related restrictions are easing, they're more comfortable partying, going on bar crawls, and attending social gatherings. The NRF says they're also putting a focus on dressing up this year.
They're getting inspiration from TikTok, from Instagram, from Pinterest, and other social platforms.
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Thank you very much there, Jen. A lot of activities going on this weekend. We had a Hullabaloo. I know you were out and about in Chinatown checking out some of the costumes. Tonight we have Waikiki action, so stay safe out there, everyone. It's sure to be a good one. But let's talk about something the internet is talking about. This video is going viral from our NBC station. The Today Show really rocking out some costumes today. Let's check it out from the feeds. Yeah, you know, we do this every year, but check out some of these performances. I got the video for you right there, Ashley.
Oh, yeah. Savannah and Hoda helped today's Halloween celebration reach new heights. So the anchors flew through the air as Cirque du Soleil performers as part of today's Las Vegas Halloween theme. Inspired by Cirque's show O at the Bellagio, the pair sat on hoops several feet off the ground while they were spun around by performers underneath them, and an acrobat circled above them.
All the Today Show co-hosts got in on the action. Got another shot for you here. Here's Jenna Bush Hager. She did a performance as Celine Dion. Yeah, we had Kristen Welker and Peter Alexander also recreating J-Lo and Ben's marriage. Yes.
And more today, co-hosts got in on the Vegas fun. Willie Geist dressed up as rocker Elvis, you see here. Craig Melvin as boxer Muhammad Ali. Carson Daly as illusionist David Copperfield. And of course, Al Roker, singer Sammy Davis Jr.
Very well done. They do a great job every year As does our Stephanie Lum,
Yeah,
who's producing her podcast.
Right, just in time for Halloween, Lopaka Kapanui joined the moms on the latest Mothership podcast. Listen to what the master ghost storyteller had to say about recent rumblings beneath Mauna Loa.
Recently, Lopaka, there have been rumblings, under Mauna Loa, and then that's got everybody on edge.
So, short story. Before the rumblings were official, on the news, there have been people talking about seeing the old Hawaiian woman in the white gown, walking around Salt Lake, Alea Manu, Diamond Head side, near Punch Bowl, wherever craters are at. So that's sort of like the precursor to volcanic activity.
What should somebody do if they encounter the woman?
No matter what the circumstance is, no matter what it is, give her the ride. Or if she asks for water or food, give it to her. Yeah, you're going to be scared. Yeah, go ahead.
Does she come out in the day or night, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter. But the point is, no matter what the circumstances are, even if you're scared, just let her get in the car, give her the ride, give her the food, because it kind of turns out that those few minutes you take to give her kindness or offer her the ride, it's those couple minutes that she's buying you time not to get hit head on in a car accident or a tree fall across the road on your car, or some disaster, like the boulders now in Mauna Loa. She could actually help prevent that if you just stop to, give her some water or some bread.
Love Stephanie's face throughout that Zoom call. Don't forget, you can find Mothership anywhere you get your podcast. Just search Hawaii News Now.
I love that Lopaka's doing the call from a dark car.
I know, right?
So awesome. Lastly, a NASA observatory captured an image of the sun that looks, what do you think? Like a bit like a jack-o'-lantern? So it shows what are actually splotches on the sun's surface that are cooler than the surrounding areas. While NASA calls it a smiling sun, some Twitter users saw something other than a jack-o'-lantern, and users compared it to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters, a lion, whatever a blobfish is, or various snack foods that bear smiley faces.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Looks like something. Enjoy your imagination. All right. Know what else I've enjoyed? 3 years of doing this. I gotta say thank you.
So fun, John.
Loving it. Still loving it.
Yes.
Having fun. And also a big thank you to all of you that submitted photos this year for our This Is Now costume contest. We have a slideshow up right now on our H&N digital platforms. You can still submit photos. We're going to be sharing them in our newscast, so I really encourage you to do that. Ashley's going to be back first at 4 on KHNL. You definitely don't want to miss that. I'm going to leave you with some of those awesome, awesome costumes.